The People's National Party unveiled its 2025 manifesto leading into the general election. Hi again and welcome. This is Links 007 TV News Report, and we'll be right back with the full details to come. Welcome to Links 007 TV News Report, providing you with the best in local and international news updates. This is a place where you can get the most reliable and informative news information. Links 007 TV News Report. Welcome back and thanks for joining us. This is Links 007 TV News Report. As a pending general election is in the pipeline, the PNP is not leaving no stones unturned and has unveiled their manifesto. As the PNP continues to unveil their manifesto, opposition spokesman on energy Philip Paulwell is raising an alarm at the high cost of energy in Jamaica and says that he is eager to get back in office to address the rising cost of electricity. The general election, which was announced by the Prime Minister, stated for September the 3rd and August the 18th for nomination day. This so far has heightened the supporters for different political allegiance as the political campaign heightens. Opposition spokesman on health Dr. Alfred Dawes pledges to fix procurement issues in the Ministry of Health and to restore dignity in care, outlining his sector plans at the PNP 2025 General Election Manifesto launch. Also speaking at the People's National Party Manifesto 2025 presentation at the Pegasus Hotel, Damian Crawford unveiled a series of initiatives aimed at expanding educational opportunities and improving students' welfare. Speaking at the PNP National Party Manifesto Conference, speaking at the P- Speaking at the People's National Party manifesto presentation at the Pegasus Hotel, Damian Crawford unveiled a series of initiatives aimed at expanding educational opportunities and improving students' welfare. Crawford announced that under the PNP-led administration, scholarships will be granted to the first child in each family to attend university. He said that this move is designed to break the cycles of generational poverty and to make higher education more accessible for families across the island. In addition, he promised a substantial increase in the daily allowance for student enrollment in the Program of Advancement through Health and Education path. The current allocation of $180 per day would be more than doubled to $400 per day. Crawford stated that this adjustment would help to better meet the national and transportation needs of students from low-income families. The proposal forms part of the People's National Party broader vision for empowering Jamaicans through education, skills training, and social support. Crawford emphasized that this investment in young people is the key to strong nation building. Opposition leader Mark Golin said that the People's National Party manifesto stands on 10 pillars that will build Jamaica. Golin, who was speaking at the People's National Party manifesto launch at the Pegasus Hotel in New Kingston, said that the document entitled Mission Jamaica Love, a People's Pledge to the Country, said that the benefits of the national development have not reached far enough.
Bringing affordable broadband internet to every Jamaican home to help our young Jamaicans to compete and outshine their peers across the world. Your vote can help us to make those necessary changes. Find out everything you need to know about voting at markgoldingja.com/vote. Remember, get out and vote. Your voice, your vote, your choice.
There comes a point in each person's life where they are tasked with an important decision. A decision that may affect not only them, but also their country.
Change gon' come, change gon' come, oh, yes it will.
A decision to keep things the way they are, or a decision that will bring meaningful change. We choose change to provide wider access to homes and land ownership, for good health care.
There's a travel advisory issued by the U.S. State Department advising of the poor state of our hospitals and the prohibitive costs associated with accessing private health care.
And access to quality education from early childhood to the tertiary level. A change to decrease crime and give our youths a chance. A change from unfulfilled promises to renewed trust. A change from corruption to good governance.
If I were in your position, I would take for myself and hand over to someone else who is not compromised.
We choose a Jamaica that is run democratically, not autocratically. We choose a Jamaica where if you break the law, you pay the price, no matter who you are. If, like me, you truly want a better future for all Jamaicans, not just a few, then make the decision to choose change for yourself, for your family, and for Jamaica.
The following message is brought to you by the People's National Party.
People time come, people time come, people time come, my people time come, people time come, people time come, people time come, PNP, my people time come, PNP. Look about what all of the people strong, united the people stand. The time is now for Jamaica rise. PNP have the better plan. We're tired of the cheese street stuff and Jamaica people deserve house and land. Equality and justice for every man. We're moving forward, never back. People time come, people time come, people time come, my people time come, people time come, people time come, people time come.
The proceeding was brought to you by the People's National Party.
Not one new high school built in 9 years. Children learning in church halls. Desks falling apart. Termite damaged roofs. Is that choosing Jamaica? The PNP will invest in education again because we choose you.
%300% pay raise for MPs.
The truth is you get the quality of governance that you elect. And every government is afraid to touch it because if you touch it, people say you don't deserve it. Why we should pay you more and the country not running well? The country not running well because of that very reason.
Public work has been waiting years for theirs.
I mean, we've done our homework, so I don't know that these salaries
you don't want me to share in the public.
Put parliamentarians and ministers in Jamaica higher than any other country in the Caribbean
you're trying
region.
to stop me from sharing.
No, I'm not.
They say choose Jamaica, but it's clear they've been choosing themselves for nearly a decade. The PNP believes in a fair deal for our public sector workers. We choose you.
Jamaica's public health system is broken. Every week we hear the horror stories. Long waiting times, no beds, basic equipment not working. Hospitals and clinics are in crisis.
While this government cuts ribbons, Jamaicans are being left to suffer in overcrowded, under-resourced facilities like this one.
The next PNP government will change this. We're going to shift focus. We want to prioritize actual care for people when they're sick, not these mega projects with huge cost overruns and that can't finish years after they start.
Refurbishing every operating theatre, creating urgent care centres island-wide so people stop waiting days for help on benches or floors.
We're going to launch national screening programs to target the biggest killers of our people: cancer, hypertension, which is pressure, diabetes, which is sugar. We want to catch them early so that people's lives can be saved. We will make the investments to ensure that every parish hospital has the equipment it needs to deliver the services required by the people.
And stop the outsourcing racket that leaves patients with nothing but bills and delays.
And we will support our healthcare workers, not just with words, but with housing, with training opportunities, and with respect. This is not about PR, it's about saving actual people's lives. Next PNP government will deliver proper, decent healthcare for the people of Jamaica. Time come.
Time come, comrades, know the history, feel the victory. Time come, people, know the history, feel the victory. Time come.
Jamaica is a beautiful Caribbean island, and beaches are part of who we are. It's not just about recreation, it's a part of our culture, it's about community, and it's about the livelihood of our people. But we have a problem. Our Jamaican people don't have access to most of our beaches. Fisherfolk are losing their livelihoods. Families are being priced out of access to beaches. The next PNP administration are going to fix this. We'll use legislation if necessary to secure beach access rights for our people. We'll work closely with the tourism interests and investors to secure a harmonious solution that's a win-win for everyone. But the principle is that the interests of the people must always come first. Our beaches are part of our natural ecological heritage. All our Jamaican people must be able to enjoy our beaches, and the next PNP administration will make sure that this is so.
Time come, comrades, know the history, feel the victory. Time come, people, know the history, feel the victory. Time come.
Risk youth a second chance to become productive citizens. Many of you will know a young person that the education system failed, who, if he or she had that second chance through mentorship, training, remedial education, and job placement, could become a positive contributor to our...
Some very key themes and issues that the People's National Party is committed to solving as the next political administration. Now, as an MP candidate for South St. James and the Deputy General Secretary of the People's National Party, she brings energy, clarity, and an unshakable belief in the power of communication. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in welcoming to the stage the Queen of the South, Nikisha Burchell.
Good evening. As a millennial politician, it gives me great pleasure to inform you this evening that the PNP has changed things up. This manifesto in 2025 will be available to you on all the streaming platforms available. Our party leader will tell you about it. It will be on Apple Podcast, it will be on Amazon Music, SoundCloud, everywhere you can click, you will find the People's National Party's 2025 love letter to the people. And this year, the manifesto is also available in our native tongue in the Jamaican patois. You want to hear a little bit of it? Give me a little something.
We're going to take out all of this tumbling block them way in the
Turn it up a little bit.
The rural initiative for deliver it. We're going to take out all of this tumbling block them way in the Pitney School. The rural initiative for deliver education, RIDE, I go pay part of the bus fare for primary and high school Pitney. We live in an area them where JUTC bus no run. 20,000 Pitney, I go get up to $10,000 a month time based on how much them need. Through the program, ensuring adequate sustenance for education is every primary and high school Pitney when I go get at least one plate of cooked food for eat a day time.
Yeah, that is our Jamaican patois, courtesy of the People's National Party's Manifesto 2025. This, ladies and gentlemen, is democracy at work. And if you left from your homes across this country to be here this evening, know that this love letter has been sealed with the kiss of the People's National Party, and you are witnessing democracy at work. Do enjoy the rest of your afternoon.
Ladies and gentlemen, give it up one more time for one of our Deputy General Secretaries and, as we love to say, the Queen of the South, Ms. Nikisha Burchell. Now, as you have heard very clearly, this manifesto is meant for the people. And so we've allowed it to be available in diverse options. So you're going to be able to download it from Apple Podcasts, from Spotify, and or patois version is going to be circulated on WhatsApp. It is accessible. And one of the ways that we answer the questions that people have about how we will break it down is by allowing that to be accessible in the language that we speak every day. The love for Jamaica must also mean a love for all things Jamaican, including our language. Job well done to the team that has been coordinating up to this very moment to ensure that we have our plans ready and available for the people. Now, we're going to be diving deeper into the manifesto, and to open the floodgates for that depth of conversation this evening, I'm asking you to invite the leader of our noble movement, and as we ask the Jamaican people to ensure is so, the next Prime Minister of Jamaica, who is able to stand before us with integrity, a strong record that we can trust, one who believes in opening up opportunities, and of course, a love, an abiding love and respect for the people of Jamaica. Please make welcome our very own Mr. Mark Jefferson Golding.
Ladies and gentlemen, comrades and friends, I just want to acknowledge the officers of the party who are here. I want to acknowledge the officers of the party who are here, all our candidates, members of the diplomatic corps who are here, well-wishers. It's really an important evening. Jamaica stands at a decisive moment in our journey of nationhood. The People's National Party is ready for the mission ahead. And I'm honored to be entrusted with the historic task
of leadership. I respectfully seek your support and pledge to respect it by working hard and honestly for you every single day. While the macroeconomic numbers have improved steadily since 2013, due to bipartisan commitment to a sustained program of fiscal reforms, the daily reality faced by our people is very different. Wages cannot stretch, prices rise daily, public services are substandard, young people have too few opportunities, and communities across our country are trapped in poverty, crime, and neglect. Stability in the public finances without quality of life for the people is not prosperity, and is why the people of Jamaica are clamoring for change. We understand both the progress and the pain because we have walked this road with you. We were the architects of Jamaica's celebrated macroeconomic reforms, from the key elements of the fiscal responsibility framework to the modernization of the revenue system, bringing the nation's debt under control and allowing a regime of inflation targeting to be introduced. Prior to all that, our party initiated the fundamental social reforms that decolonized Jamaican society and created lasting programs like PATH for our most vulnerable, the National Health Fund to support affordable health care, and JADEP for our seniors, which is a drug for the elderly program. We built institutions like the National Housing Trust and the Jamaican Urban Transit Company, and modern infrastructure like the major highways, expanded seaports and airports, and enabled investments in modern telecommunications and the transition to renewable energy through entities like Wigton Wind Farm and the large solar projects that were initiated under our watch. But the benefits of national development have not reached far enough. Interior roads in every parish are in a deplorable condition. Many communities do not have access to water in people's homes. Urban blight and decay plague our cities, while rural Jamaica has been left behind. Farm roads are often impassable. Irrigation is inadequate and outdated, and our farmers lack the tools, machinery, and support systems to produce and to prosper. This manifesto is our plan for a new chapter built on our vision, Jamaica Love. It stands on 10 pillars: justice for all, access to quality education, modern infrastructure, agriculture and food security, innovation and industry, care for the vulnerable, accountability in governance, land and housing, opportunity for youth, violence prevention, and environmental resilience. These pillars are a compass. They will guide us to invest in people, close the gaps between uptown and downtown, between tourism zones and rural parishes, between the well-connected few who thrive while the majority feel neglected and dejected. We will protect economic stability and leverage it into inclusive and sustainable growth, creating a new era of opportunities for those who are now excluded from prosperity, while tackling corruption and the abuse of power in governance. Jamaica time come to lift our country higher. Time come to lift our country higher and build a future that belongs to all of us. Let us take this journey together. Thank you.
Plenty of people run for leadership and promise to walk with you, but then they walk away. Plenty of people.
In every constituency, on every issue, the People's National Party has assembled the strongest, most diverse slate of candidates in a generation. From doctors ready to heal our broken health system, to educators building a smart Jamaica, business people growing the economy, legal minds defending justice, and community advocates speaking truth to power. This is a team chosen for competence, compassion, and commitment. Led by Mark Golding, a good man with a good plan. This is not politics as usual. This is a team to rescue Jamaica, rebuild our future, and restore pride in leadership. Jamaica, time come. In every constituency, on every issue.
Talk the truth. This look and feel like politics as usual? No, this is not politics as usual, ladies and gentlemen. And it is reflected in the vision broken down in our Jamaica Love plan. We know that we have a leader who cares, who understands the intricacies and the intimacies of the Jamaican realities. And from his track record as a legislator, we know that he can build the framework to fix it. And as you can see from our slate of stunning candidates, all 63, he can mobilize talent to get the job done for all of Jamaica. Thank you very much, President Golding, for setting the tone and laying the framework. And now I ask you to join me in welcoming, as we explore the first pillar of Mission Jamaica Love, justice for all. A lady who has spent her days, and I suspect nights when we can't see, preparing for her presentations in the nation's Senate. She is a voice of courage and a champion for fairness in our laws and in our society. Please, a rousing welcome for Senator Donna Scott Motley.
My fellow Jamaicans, party leader, the leadership of the People's National Party, and my brave, wonderful comrades who will be embarking on a successful battle on September 3rd. I bring you love. To my comrades and my friends, this mission on which we have embarked is wrapped in love, framed with good thoughts, always concerned about the well-being of the Jamaican person. And that is why our manifesto speaks to justice for all. Because justice demands more than laws. It requires an environment that upholds the dignity of all who serve and all who seek justice. We are committed to upgrading and expanding the physical infrastructure of courts across Jamaica to ensure that judges have a secure and functional chambers, that court staff must work in conditions where they are comfortable so that they can actually deliver to the people, and litigants, the most important persons in this context, especially, you will forgive me, rural, because I come from country, in rural and underserved communities, will feel that they have been taken into consideration They deserve facilities that reflect the seriousness of the matters to be considered. As you can appreciate, at the very top of our agenda will be constitutional reform for sovereignty and for justice. Because if you love your people, you must give them a place where they feel appreciated and valued. And so we will pursue constitutional amendments through a transparent and participatory process that engages shareholders from the ground up. We will be speaking to the church, to trade unions, to civil society, to all actors in this great design crafted in love, and we will roll out a consultation process. We'll be hosting public forums for Jamaicans to debate and recommend constitutional reform, so that when we provide you with a constitution, you will feel that it belongs to you. We will be implementing school and community outreach programs, because that's where it all begins, with our children, as we build a new nation alongside them. Of course, we'll be launching broad public education and awareness campaigns, all aimed primarily at the outset with replacing the British monarch with a Jamaican president chosen by the people and accountable to the people. We will make the Caribbean Court of Justice the final court of appeal. We shall replace the United Kingdom Privy Council and have a court which brings justice at the highest level to our people. We shall strengthen parliamentary accountability. We shall introduce impeachment and recall. And we shall have committees chaired by opposition members, because trust me, that is how you ensure that everybody upholds the values which they pledged to do when they took the oath under the Constitution as they were sworn in. We shall have a discussion and consider fixed election dates and term limits, and this is no idle promise. And to those of you who are not here but are listening, we shall expand the Senate to broaden representation to include the diaspora, persons with disabilities, and the Rastafari and Maroon communities. Inclusion for all. We will also prioritize legal changes that reflect our identity and deepen justice. You heard our manifesto in Patois? Well, we will recognize the Jamaican language as an essential part of our Jamaican identity. We shall protect historically marginalized groups, particularly people of African descent, through a national ban on hair discrimination, a reparations advocacy framework grounded in international law. We shall have legal protection of our ancestral spaces and our cultural practices. We will have full recognition of Rastafari as an indigenous religion with associated rights. And we will reach an accord with Maroon communities to give a modern interpretation to their ancestral treaty rights. You think we're done? No. We are going to be advancing gender equity, protection of the elderly, and the rights of persons with disabilities. We will implement a progressive beach policy by reviewing the Beach Control Act. We will guarantee public access while balancing tourism and private use. We will join the International Criminal Court to reinforce Jamaica's commitment to global justice. And comrades, Jamaicans, we are going to be expanding the legal services provided by the Legal Aid Clinic to ensure that persons who have constitutional matters or civil matters who cannot afford to retain a lawyer will be able to do so, ensuring that justice is not reserved just for the wealthy. We will complete the long-promised review of the Domestic Violence Act, which was introduced under our government, and we will implement the recommendations to hold abusers accountable. We shall provide parish facilities to provide places of safety and support for victims. We will enact a basic financial services law to establish minimum services which we, the consumer, should be provided with, so that our complaints will be heard and our concerns will be taken into account by financial institutions. That, too, is a partnership. It's only a glimpse into our future. We have as our leader a man who passed the most legislation ever in the history of this country. And it was legislation designed to uplift the people at every time. So, comrades, the word is love. We bring you love as we bring you justice for all.
Plenty of people run for leadership and promise to walk with you, but then they walk away from their plans. But how many would sit with you, really sit with you? You should never have to choose between your education and your future. The first in your family, accepted in college or university, will get a full scholarship because you matter. Student loan repayments will be capped at a percentage of what you actually earn, and you won't be asked to pay a cent unless you're employed. This election is not just about change, it's about your future, your family. It's about you. They had 10 years to choose you, and they chose themselves. You deserve a better life. Jamaica, time come, and that time is now.
Indeed, ladies and gentlemen, that time is now. A round of applause again for the first presentation as we move through our Jamaica Love acronym. Now, one of our nation's favorite teachers is also on our slate of elite 63 candidates, and he must be wondering why I'm sitting with the M in the acronym, because this is the modern infrastructure panel. We don't do the A, access to education, as yet. Rest, rest, trust me. On this side, we can spell Jamaica. You are indeed up next. So following behind the Justice for All conversation, we invite Senator Damian Crawford, a man known for his creativity in finding solutions, a passionate advocate in access to education for all. Senator Crawford.
Thank you very much. I will stand on the protocols that have been observed, save and except to say a special recognition, of course, to the leader of the People's National Party, and as we hope, the next Prime Minister of Jamaica. I thank you all for attending, for your time and for your attention. And I have been tasked with speaking to you on access to quality education. Our position for education is based, first of all, on the reality that education is in crisis. And not only is education in crisis, there is great deterioration over the last 10 years. Some of the facts that we must acknowledge is that over 11,000 children are not achieving basic mastery at the 6th grade level in mathematics. Additionally, 18% are achieving 5 subjects, including math and English. That means 82% has not achieved the basic graduating numbers that we desire. Indeed, we have also recognized that there is a concern at the absenteeism, but also at the literacy level. In the last 10 years, literacy in 2015 reduced from 84% in 2015 to 65% in 2024. The same subject, about 5 subjects including math and English, reduced from 28% in 2015 to 18% in 2024. Therefore, we acknowledge that education is in crisis. The second acknowledgement is that the mantra of education is a contract between God and man that states, first of all, that every child can learn, which God has allowed, but the second, every child must, is the duty of our government, of our teachers, and of our parents. We therefore are committed to achieving that role that humans have gained in that contract with God. Our overall objective and the ultimate aim within our lifetime is to have 1 degree per household or its equivalent in vocation, suggesting therefore level 4 of heart qualification in vocations. That, however, would need multiple tenets, multiple hurdles to be crossed for persons, first of all, to be able to attend the university, and the second of all, to be able to be successful at that level. We look at the first proposal that we have made for university, which is the first in the family scholarship. This indicates, therefore, that the first person to matriculate to university would receive, as indicated by the leader in his budget presentation, a full scholarship to the university. We have received questions about what is a family and how is a family defined. It is simple. There are 2 definitions to the family. The first is shared ancestry, and the second is shared roof. Any of which that child qualifies, that child will benefit from the first in the family scholarship. Our numbers have been calculated and reported, and it's important to indicate to students currently at the university that for the first year, our numbers considered 4 groups of university students. So not only new university students, but current university in first year will receive their second year, and current in second year will receive their third year, and equally current in third year will receive their 4th year. We also recognize that outside of those who may receive the scholarship, some are still in need of having a student loan. And again, as the leader has indicated in his budget presentation, which is why I'm so confused by the multiplicity of arguments that we have not proposed our plans. But the leader also stated that those persons who have applied to student loan, the payment will be tied to their income to ensure that student loan isn't an albatross around the necks of individuals who have the necessary expenses of survival. We have also indicated that for those who are not yet employed, student loan will not start until the start of employment. Therefore, there will be no requirement for payment. But before we get to university, we have to ensure that there is early exposure to children for their brain function. Research has indicated that 80% of the brain function occurs in the first 1,000 days. And to that extent, we will ensure that we work with the churches to create facilities for infant learning in each community so that we can have organized access to brain function and that improvement so our children can get that. Additionally, we recognize absenteeism as a major problem in Jamaica. Recently, we celebrated 22%, a return to 22% absenteeism, quote unquote, pre-COVID levels. Chronic absenteeism is suggested to be 10%. So we are celebrating twice what is suggested to be the chronic absenteeism levels. And this is for the general reality. Deep rural absenteeism has been said to be 55% and rural absenteeism 32%. To this extent, we have recognized some of the reasons for absenteeism to include access to transportation. And it's important to differentiate access and affordability because there are some communities being deep rural that have no access for them to even consider affordability. To that extent, we had indicated the RIDE program. And the RIDE program is to give $10,000 per month or $2,500 per week as a supplement to individuals who are coming from communities that may, one, not have access to make access more available, but two, may not be able to afford to ensure that they can afford getting to school. Regardless of the quality of school and teacher, absence would indicate that the child will not be able to perform satisfactorily. We also recognize nutrition to be a problem. And in recognizing that nutrition is a problem, we relied upon the research that said 56% of Jamaicans have food insecurity. Some graver than others, but 56%. Our current PATH program lunch is targeting less than 30% of our children, indicating that approximately 26% are still not accessing the necessary nutrition that is needed. To this extent, we not only decided to expand the number of students to over 240,000 students, but also to increase the amount from $180 to $400 per child per day. The current $180 have caused for an apartheid system in education where many children on PATH have to join a separate line of segregation and divided from persons who are affording other lunches. Principals have also started to offer 3 days of lunch because the money allotted cannot provide for the entire 5 days. Time come for that to change under the People's National Party. We will ensure that the stories of literacy problems in high school are a thing of the past by focusing on literacy and numeracy in the first 4 years, indicating that by the grade 6, all our children should be literate and numerate with the necessary interventions to correct the necessary things for those children. We will host camps, we will host evening programs, we will host summer school to ensure that those who unfortunately have been robbed of opportunity don't remain in the lines of the level 3 and level 2, but all come to pathway 1, which is the aim for our children. Finally, we will ensure that our children have great access to the necessities of a teacher in the classroom. We have seen the teacher migration and the negatives that have caused, especially in mathematics and vocation. And to that extent, we are proposing a retention plan for teachers so that Jamaica become more competitive for the services of our wonderful teachers that are constantly being asked to migrate into other spaces. This retention plan will change some of the realities that we have seen where students doing an exam in fifth form have not had a math teacher since third form. It therefore explains why less than 40% of our children taking math are passing math at this particular point in time. The teacher retention plan would include, first of all, greater access to housing through the NHT. It will include reservation of housing units built through the NHT and under government programs. It would include graduating access to motor vehicle concession. It would include forgiveness of student loan for the years that they remain in the public sector. It would include internet as a tool of trade to ensure access to preparation and information. And it would include ensuring their environs, both in the classroom and the staff room, are sufficient for them to feel comfortable moving forward. We believe that our access to education plans are holistic, fulsome, and will ensure that we move the needle from just access to quality access for our children. Therefore, we are putting forward an education plan that is based on love for our children, love for our future, and love for our country. Thank you, Jamaica.
Thank you very much, Senator Crawford, for elucidating how critical education is as a bridge to connecting dreams to reality. It is indeed a powerful investment. And as he spoke, my mind went to any of us having to go to the bank to get some money to make an investment in ourselves. The bank looks at the whole human sitting before that particular agent. Where you live, we need to establish that you are grounded and can be found. What is your record of earning and payment? We need to see where you're coming from to figure out where you can go. What are the full suite of resources that you will need to make good on this investment in your business? And if you need to have access to an incubator, that is done too. Our children deserve no less than a full investment in the whole life experience from infancy right up to their tertiary level education. And the People's National Party will in fact deliver. Now, as we heard that approach to scaffolding around our children, the different things that they will need to build that towering strength that, of course, is going to impact our economy, there is a foundation on which these things must also be built. And I have joining me for our first of three panels, two men who understand very well what it means to build and to sustain what is built based on the portfolios they manage, the enterprises that they run, the hardline negotiations they've had to do in and outside of government. And I would love to hear from each of you. First, we have Philip Paulwell, who joins us to speak to the concept of digital access and what people will need as part of the modern infrastructure, reliable energy and affordable energy as well. And I also have joining me on this panel, Mr. Mikhail Phillips, who will connect the dots for us around sustainable and secure access to transportation and road network. So for both of you, you serve in capacities and advocate around issues that form the foundation on which society arguably is built. Let's start first with your understanding of the role that you will play in the next administration.
It is quite clear. Our leader has said to us at all our shadow cabinet meetings that for Jamaica to be able to experience true happiness and development, we have to grow the economy. Our economy has been stagnant under this JLP administration. And you're not going to get true satisfaction from our people unless there is appreciable growth. And one of the main factors against growth so far is the uncompetitiveness of our economy. And what has driven that has been the high price of energy. In 2012, when we returned to office, the price of electricity was 32 cents per kilowatt hour. By the time we left office, it was 23 cents per kilowatt hour. Today, the price of electricity is above 40 US cents per kilowatt hour. And that doesn't only affect businesses, but it affects consumers because electricity goes into every aspect of goods and services that we produce. So we have a plan. And we have been dying to get into office to get this plan back on track. Yes, we are still exuberant about getting things done in Jamaica. Now, what are some of the elements of the plan? And we're going to be coming from where we left off, because nothing really has happened in the last 9 years in energy. We had transformed, diversify fuel sources. When we came into office, we were generating electricity, 92% of which was from fossil fuel. By the time we ended office, 60% of our fuel was being generated from LNG. We were close to 20%. For the first time, Jamaica was leading the Caribbean in terms of renewable energy. We established the single largest solar factory in Jamaica, 20 megawatts. And very importantly, Wigton, which was divested recently by the government, was a demonstration of how government can effectively implement a project of renewable energy, and it worked very well. So where are we now? We're going to build on the legislation that we passed in 2015 to modernize electricity. That legislation assumed that we would have been negotiating with JPSCO to end most of those provisions of the license that are not in keeping with a modern society by the year 2020. Mr. Vaz is just realizing now that the license is coming to an end in 2027. We wanted it to end in 2020, and we have precedent for that because it was our administration that ended the 50-year license of Cable and Wireless. And what are the elements of this new license and the new regime? First of all, we have to have more competition. And I'm a competition man on the energy side. By that we mean we have to ensure that Jamaicans will have access to that essential facility known as a grid to generate from their rooftops solar that can be sold to the grid. We have termed our plan Power for the People. Power for the People. And secondly, we also have to do a lot more in terms of large-scale solar generation. I'm a solar man because when we did that first solar project in 2014, the price of solar electricity was US 19 cents per kilowatt hour. Today, you can generate using the solar panels, the inverters, and batteries at below 10 US cents per kilowatt hour, and we don't have to pay for the sun. So we are going to be embarking on a revolution to bring the price of electricity down, focusing on solar energy. One element that we are going to tackle up front is the fact that so many of our people are so poor that unfortunately they steal electricity. And you and I pay for that, up to 20% of the bill. We believe that the government ought to take responsibility for assisting our brothers and sisters to meet that need, what has become for us now a real right to have electricity, because in this modern society you cannot. And we have done all the experiment, we have done the engineering, and we are going to be outfitting in many of our poorer communities microgrids using solar again to generate electricity. And I can tell you, and Florida is going to be happy with this, the PNP government is going to be building 50,000 homes in our first term. And each one of those homes will have solar facility generating electricity free of the grid. And finally, because I could go on all night, there are some inherent, I believe, unconscionable features of our system of electricity. Firstly, I believe that consumers ought to be given more power. I find it totally unacceptable that you can have fluctuating voltage that affects a person's appliances. And then when you report that your fridge is damaged, they will tell you, but if you read the fine print of your contract, you will see that we have excluded ourselves from liability. That is going to change. We are going to make those unfair terms in contracts unenforceable. And because I want my brother to be able to say something, I will yield to my brother. Thank you very much, everybody.
All right, thank you very much. Philip, it's always a pleasure to hear your passion about powering our nation. Now, before we hear from Mikhail, I want to invite a member of the audience to join me on stage to pose a question to either of our two panelists. You may raise your hand and a member of the team will select who joins. While that is taking place, the hands are going up. I'll now pass the microphone, as they say, to you, Mikhail. Looking at the transport sector, quite a bit has been happening, a flurry of activities, some would say, heading into the elections. But what's important is for us to understand some of the core issues that Jamaicans have, and roads stay at the top of the agenda, whether rural or urban. We're promising road, but where are we getting money to fix road and build road?
Well, let me start out by saying that where public transport is concerned, we, the People's National Party, don't consider those who participate, the investors in the public transport sector, as thieves and rapists. We see them as investors in an industry that is a part of the growth of the Jamaican economy. Now, we remember that the JUTC was formed by the People's National Party in 1988. And that came at great sacrifice to not only the franchise holders, but to the taxpayers. And if we were to look at the JUTC now, to when we left government in 2016, we can see the degradation of the JUTC under this administration. So in 2016, we had 450 buses rolling out on a daily basis compared to under 300 today, even with over 200 new buses. We saw the subsidy of the government of the day in 2016 was about 4 billion. Today it is about 11 billion. The losses of the JUTC then was about $2 billion. We're looking at about 11 billion for this financial year. And when Darrell Vaz is completed with the JUTC, we should see about a $17 billion loss this financial year. So we understand transportation. And we, as an administration, look at the ride sharing also, that we believe that those who participate in the ride share industry in Jamaica, and we do welcome competition, but they have to abide by the rules and laws of the country that they're operating in. Because we can't have those who participate in the public transport sector who has to apply for a PPV license, and then those who operate on the app decide that they operate utilizing the white plates, while we have young men are being prosecuted for running robots using the same white plates. So we want equity for all in the transportation industry. We spoke about, in my own budget presentation over 4 years ago, about the rural bus system, about how it is that we're going to have a school bus system moving 20,000 students daily compared to the 4,000 that has been proposed by this administration. And I think we need to get to a point as a country that we need to want the best for our students, for our people. We have 1 million Jamaicans that are dependent on public transport. We have to find a way in moving those persons in a first-class manner, because Jamaicans do deserve the best. So when we see the minister purchasing used buses that are 10 years old, 150,000 miles on each bus, not kilometers, miles. We have started conversation with manufacturers of the buses, those that manufacture currently for the JUTC. They are willing to come and retrofit buses from 15-seaters to 20-seaters to 35-seaters. with chassis that are conducive for our roadway. And there are many questions that are still remaining, because for $1.4 billion for the buses that are currently purchased, with the buses costing about $400 million, we ask, where is the other $1 billion going to? So, moving forward, we have to look at the Kingston metropolitan area. We spoke about light rail from Portmore, Spanish Town coming into Kingston. We're talking about how it is that we build modern transportation center in rural Jamaica and all across the island, in our town centers, that can facilitate Jamaicans, not only the bus drivers and the taxi drivers, but also those commuters that have to take public transport. When we look at our roadways, we have to go back to a dedicated fund in financing our 27,000 kilometers of roads right across the island. We have proposed that looking at the lengthman system and also a road maintenance system, that we are going to be debushing our roadways on a quarterly basis, not once a year. That is being done now. How it is that we get grade 3 contractors and grade 2 contractors involved in a road maintenance program, that we will be maintaining those roads on a quarterly basis or half-yearly basis as the finances can afford to. But we see not only the construction of highways and the development of highways, but how it is that we rehabilitate our roadways in the interlands, in the interior of our country, where the majority of Jamaicans do reside. We see that as an important point to the development of the country, not only to agriculture, where we'll have to now partner with the Ministry of Agriculture, not only developing farm roads, but how would we develop community roads? Because not only getting it from the farm, but from the farm to market is also important. So we see road development as a major plank of the growth of the economy, but how it is that we move persons from home to work, home to school, and home to enjoyment, and for a better life for those in the interior of our country.
All right, thank you very much. We had, I think, a depth of and wealth of information coming from both of our speakers on this first panel. Hope you've been taking notes. So when the questions are asked about what plans we have for energy, what plans we have for education, for justice, for transportation and road work and maintenance, you're able to point to some of these key, critical and succinct ideas and commitments from the People's National Party. Please, a round of applause for Mikhail Phillips and Philip Paulwell. Oh, we're going to ask you to stay with us for a second while we introduce, for an injection of creative energy, ladies and gentlemen, she's no stranger to the stage, no stranger to the microphone, and having seen and heard her perform time and time again, no stranger to speaking to the soul. Please make welcome to the stage the effervescent and talented Jody Ann Pantry.
Good night, everyone. Can we take that from the top, please? Thank you very much. Can we take that from the top, please? Thank you. Thank you. Hallelujah in the house. For the people who are not afraid to say hallelujah. Can I get a hallelujah? Thank you, Lord. Keep it flowing, DJ. I chose this song because everyone in here have been through something before that shook or rocked your world. But you didn't stay down there. You got back up, right? Take it from the top. You got back up, and that is all that matters. So this is a message to every single individual in here tonight. Gonna break these chains around me. Gonna learn to fly again. Maybe hard, but you'll do it when you're back on your feet again. Soon these tears will all be drying. Soon these eyes will see the sun. Might take time, but you'll see it. Hey, when we're back on our feet again. On ready? Let me step down. When I'm back on my feet again, I'll walk around down the street again, and they'll all look at me again. Hey, and they'll see that you're strong. Hey, gonna hear Jamaica laughing. Gonna hear the voices sing. Won't be long, but I feel it when we're back on our feet. Everybody stand on your feet, when I'm back on my. Hey, I'll walk around down the street. Alright, hey, won't be long till I hear it. Everybody, when we're back on our feet again. One more time for the chorus. When we're back on our feet again, I'll walk around down the street again. Hey, and they'll all look at me and say, you were very, very strong. PNP is not going back again. We will keep to our words and promises over and over again. No, we're not gonna crumble or falter. No. We will learn to be stronger. Hey, soon these tears will all be drying. Soon these eyes will see the sun. Won't be long till I see it. Mr. Palmer, I see you when I'm back on my feet again. Oh Lord, when we're back on our, just wave your hand in the universe. Wait for your victory when you're back on your feet again. God's got you, you'll be back on your feet again. One no dead, no dash away, on your feet again. Keep it flowing, DJ. Keep it going. All right, everybody, let's put your hands together like this. Come on. Are we exiting together now? Don't worry, sure about it. 'Cause every little thing, every little, it's gonna be a, ooh, yeah. Singing, don't worry about a thing. 'Cause every little thing, every little thing, hey, it's gonna be it'll be alright. Hey, rise up this morning. What we do? Smile with the three little birds. What them do? Sit by her, singing sweet of what? Of melodies. No, singing, yeah. This is my message too. Thank you so much. And let me hear you say, whoa. Sing, whoa. Sing, whoa. Sing, whoa. La 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 la. Thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen.
And thank you, the inimitable Jody and Pantry. I know there was a money pull up in the crowd for you when you started with Back on Your Feet Again. Every comrade felt that from the tip of our heads to the toes of our feet. Give it up one more time for Jody and Pantry. Now, you know it's not a Jamaican event if I don't have an announcement for a car that needs to be moved. So listen up. I've been told that the back left tire is missing. So if you drive a silver Nissan SUV, 5095kg, you're blocking. Let's go again. And remember, this is a high impact moment. There may be a missing tire. 5095kg, a silver Nissan SUV. You're blocking a fellow member of our audience, and we're asking for you to move your vehicle as quickly as possible. Thank you. So we're moving into our next pillar, and if you're counting with us, we're at the first, or spelling with us, we're at the first, well, the second A in Jamaica, agriculture. And this is a big one. I love that I'm seeing a representative from the Breadbasket Parish of St. Elizabeth on the stage. So, not in order of seniority this time, but of course, from the delicate, the most refined, to the medium refined, because I'm not going to say my Gensec is not refined, okay? So please, welcome to our stage today, the MP candidate for South St. Elizabeth, coming to us, Miranda Wellington, a firebrand on the ground, ready to show up for her people in the nation's parliament, and of course our General Secretary and MP candidate for Eastern Westmoreland and the party's spokesperson on agriculture, Dr. Dayton Campbell. So let me start with Lady Miranda, because you are now in a very interesting position. You are seeing what life is like in that Breadbasket Parish, how much of our nation's food resources really rest on the success of that parish, and for farmers to get what they need to provide for our nation's tables. What do you see as some of the critical areas for solutions to jump in immediately from a People's National Party government? What do your farmers need from you?
My fellow Jamaicans, my comrades, and of course, special shout out to my future Prime Minister, Marky G. I am from the Breadbasket Parish indeed, and all Jamaicans know that our farmers are the heartbeat of our economy. And we want to bring back a sense of dignity and independence to our farmers. But firstly, we have to look at what are the ways that we can empower them again. And I'm very excited about our manifesto plan for agriculture, because as a youth and from a community that is predominantly farm-based, I want to see our youths go back into agriculture. And we are very proud to showcase this in our manifesto. So youths in agriculture need the kind of support that we see many of our farmers across the island needing. And what is critical about getting our farmers back farming is that we no longer should have food on our plates that are from the States. So we need to protect them. The local industry needs to be protected. And my future agricultural minister will tell us a lot more about the areas about agriculture, innovation, and technology that is critical to getting back our farmers on board, especially our youths. And there are quite a lot of ideas that we have showcased in our manifesto, including geomapping, sending our farmers to the market without moving. That is critical, because there's a critical disconnect between our farmers and the market. So also, I'm from a predominantly drought-riddled area. We have to protect our farmers in investing in seeds that are drought resistance. You know, what we see is that they're spending so much money, so much loss in agriculture because of climate change. And we see where many of our farmers no longer feel it's viable in the drought period. So what we're finding now, many of our farmers are not farming for the last 3 months. So we have to look at seriously at how we can protect the drought-riddled areas in investing in technology, in investing in AI, so that they can get back to being a part of the industry that has led them into production for so long.
Thank you, Miranda. So we're hearing about the need for protection. We are hearing about the need for empowerment of our farmers and also an element of sustainability in those farming communities to ensure that they maximize what they have on the ground and can also make use of the new technologies. What are the policies for the PNP heading into government to answer to some of those questions and more?
Well, thank you very much. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and of course our incoming Prime Minister. We called it, they confirm it, and we will win it. Now, just some context to agriculture. We have over 262,000 registered farmers in Jamaica. And if you count those who are not registered with RADA, you have about 300,000. It is the main economic activity in rural Jamaica, accounting for 80% of the economic activity. We do have some challenges. 80% of the persons who farm, they're on 5 acres or less. And we developed some agri-parks a few years ago that has all of the infrastructure, the road, the irrigation, the drainage, and we only have 30% of the lands within the agri-parks currently under production. In terms of post-harvest loss, that is at 30%. And when you look at the arable lands that are irrigated, only about 15% of those lands are irrigated. There are several challenges that our farmers have, and we have put forward some solutions to address those at the root. And one of the proposals is to ensure that we put an agricultural development fund in place. That will not see our people paying any new taxes. What has happened over the last 10 years is that the food importation bill in Jamaica has moved from $834 million per year to $1.6 billion, a 100% increase, and that is both in the monetary value and also the tonnage, which has also increased by a similar amount. From the taxes that we collect on those, whether it is the CET or it is the additional stamp duty, we are going to take a percentage of that, and that is what will put the funds in the Agricultural Development Fund. That fund we will use to ensure that we can make loans available to our farmers by capitalizing the PC banks. We will ensure that we can work with irrigation, that they can have proper storage, that we can work with technology and just modernize what they do. It is also important for us to make land available to our farmers. Too many of them are on terrains that are not conducive, suitable for agriculture, and it doesn't lend to technology and mechanization. So we will put idle lands into the hands of the farmers by leasing them those and to ensure that they can put them under production. In terms of our school feeding program that Senator Crawford spoke about, if you look at, and I'll just use 2 examples of constituencies that I'm familiar with. If you use Eastern Westmoreland, if you're in the Darliston area, you have Darliston Primary, you have Maud MacLeod, just outside you have Enfield, and you have Chantilly. What we will do is, in order to provide that one warm meal, we will have our farmers produce those things. So the schools will have to do the menu and tell us what the needs are. So they would say to us that this school is going to require 500 pounds of Irish potato or 300 pounds of pumpkin or X amount of pounds of callaloo. And then we will send our local farmers to go and produce those things, and they will have a guaranteed market in the schools. We're going to spend $9 billion on that. So that will ensure that we are not only giving a nutritious meal to the students, but that the local farmers are also benefiting from our policy. We will put an agriculture special economic zone in place, which will come with all of the benefits that the special economic zones come with, the incentives and all those things. But the production in these areas will be export driven. So the items that we have a competitive advantage in, our spices, our yam, those items, our Sea Island cotton, those are the things that will be produced in those areas, and then we will increase what we earn. So there's currently a tremendous imbalance between what we are importing and what we are exporting, and we plan to ensure that agriculture can be that thing that people can generate wealth from the soil, and they can actually, by being involved in farming, they can break the shackles of poverty. We will also modernize what we do. Do you believe that you can use your phone to order something from China, but you can't use your phone to order something from Southeast or Southwest St. Elizabeth? So what we want to ensure is that we have the appropriate technology in place, that at all times we know what is under production, when is the expected maturity, what's the expected yield, so that way we will be able to control what is distributed in the market and in terms of imports. So we will not be allowing imports to run the way it is being run now, where there's just wanton distribution of import licenses. We will only go to imports when we cannot find those items locally. And in the import system that we'll have in place, it will be a transparent system, not geared towards friends and company, but one that is geared towards the benefiting the farmers themselves. So if they're producing and they're selling and they don't have the items, then they will get some of the permits to import the items so that they can continue to take care of themselves and their families.
Profitable, equitable, and modern. Thank you very much, Comrade General Secretary. Now we have a young member of the audience joining us on stage with a question. Please introduce yourself and, of course, pose your question.
Hello, good evening, everyone. My name is Shari Ann Henry, and to you, Dr. Dayton Campbell. You know, many young persons across Jamaica, we don't see agriculture as attractive, and it's all about getting your hands dirty. So how do you plan, the People's National Party, when it forms the next government, how do you plan to digitize agriculture in Jamaica and make it more attractive?
Well, it is important for us to adapt to newer technologies if we're going to encourage or entice more persons to come into agriculture, young persons, female, into agriculture. So it is a core part of what we have planned. We do have our SMART program, which is Sustainable Management of Agriculture through Research and Technology. So if you look at a youngster that would be out there now watching their parent plant an acre of lettuce, if that person was to use a hydroponic system, which doesn't involve soil at all, because what you need for things to grow, you need three things. You need sunlight, you need hydration, and you need nutrients. So by using a hydroponic system, if you set up, say, a 5,000 plant hydroponic system, and lettuce on the hydroponic system would take 5 weeks for it to mature, as opposed to 10 weeks in the soil, you would be able to plant 1,000 seedlings each week, and therefore, after 5 weeks, you would start reaping 1,000. If each comes to a pound, you'll be reaping 1,000 pounds per week. If you're selling lettuce at $250,000 a pound, you'll be making $250 a pound, you'll be making $250,000 per week. So by showing young people these numbers, having the Agriculture Development Fund that can assist them with a start in setting up their infrastructure, we envision from that we'll be able to entice more persons to get involved in it. We'll also be focusing on backyard farming and urban farming so that more people can see the value of agriculture and can produce things even for their household needs. So it is something that we'll be working with the schools to just change the mindset. We were taught in a way that it is when you fail that you take up agriculture. A common saying in country is that, you know, the children don't make it and say, "Me have 2 farm for a few," or whatever it is, to suggest that it is when you do not excel academically you go into farming. We want to change that mindset to make agriculture into a real career choice and show that you can generate wealth from it.
Dr. Campbell, I just wanted to add to that. We need to invest in value-added product. And a part of our manifesto is that we'll be looking on crops that are in excess. And we have to look at the other ways to make it profitable, because many of our young farmers may not be interested in the dirt farm, but the value-added products, such as our canning goods, teas, seasonings, and we have to look at the juices, the secondary level to production in agriculture. And I just wanted to add to that also, we have to look at the fact that we have to give our farmers a start again. We have to make them accessible to better loans in our credit unions. Farmers need a start also, not just small businesses. Farmers need to have access to better loan facilities, and this is what our manifesto showcases also. So I just wanted to add that part also.
Thank you. Thank you very much, and thanks as well, Sharian, for posing a question from the audience. I think everyone here is stimulated and even more curious to scan that QR code, download the full manifesto, and put each of these conversations into context for what's happening in your community and your constituency. Sharing as well that we will be sharing in a sort of drip fashion, strategically, new elements of the manifesto. So we have the full manifesto available tonight, and of course we'll have it in audio version, and then in another couple of days you will be exposed to Manifesto Light, which is not the light version of what we have ready tonight, but quick bursts of information on new, fresh policies and ideas. So when it's time for Manifesto Light, I want to make sure your belly is full from the Manifesto Heavy, so that we can have dessert together and explore what more is in store with the PNP. Thank you very much, Miranda Wellington, Dr. Dayton Campbell, and Sharian Henry. We're asking you to stay on stage as we make welcome another member of the creative and performing arts industry. Her name on her birth certificate is Janelle Owens, but as a performer, you may call her Yinga. Please welcome our violinist this evening, Yinga. Keep the applause going, ladies and gentlemen, for the young, creative, and talented Yinga. Now, our next pillar focuses on building Jamaica's economic strength through innovation and industry. And I hope you've been pacing yourself. Justice for all, access to quality education, modern infrastructure, agriculture, and now we are at innovation and industry. It's important for us to transform our economy, create new sectors, modernize traditional ones, and ensure that Jamaicans like Yinga, like Jody and Pantry, who have creative impetus and talent, have the opportunity to access resources and global markets. So I invite, in this section, we will have two speakers actually, but I will invite first the Member of Parliament for Western St. Andrew to share the vision we have for innovation and industry. Please welcome Mr. George Anthony Hilton.
All protocols observed, and I want to especially recognize our next Prime Minister, Mark Jefferson Golding. From 2012 to 2016, the last PNP administration introduced to Jamaica in a fundamental way the concept of logistics as a functional area of the economy, and the logistic hub as a strategy for economic growth. The next PNP administration will be making more complex and to point out the connection between the supply chain and the value chain, and to drive industry in the process. So I'll be focusing on innovation and industry. So, ladies and gentlemen, imagine for a moment that you're standing at a crossroads. Behind you lies a path we have walked for 63 years, a path paved with bauxite dust and tourist footprints on the sands of our seashores. Ahead of you stretches a new highway, one that we must build together. The question isn't whether change is coming to Jamaica. The question is, will we lead that change, or will we be swept along by it? The only certainty in today's world is uncertainty. Global disruptions have become our new normal. But here's what I know about us Jamaicans. We don't just survive disruption. We dance with it. We turn crisis into creativity, challenges into championships. Let's be honest with ourselves. Our bauxite reserves won't last forever. Tourism, as wonderful as it is, leaves us vulnerable to every hurricane, every global pandemic, every economic shock that comes our way. And our over-reliance on remittances, now under significant threat, has undermined economic resilience and stifled domestic productivity, leaving a nation vulnerable and limiting long-term development. We've built our house on shifting sands, and it's time to pour a new foundation. But here's the beautiful thing about this moment. With every disruption comes an opportunity for reinvention. Think about it. The same digital revolution that threatens traditional industries is the same force that can connect a young programmer in Spanish Town to clients in Silicon Valley. The same climate change that challenges our agricultural sector can drive us towards becoming the Caribbean's first truly green economy. This is why we must embrace the PNP's initiative, Jamaica 4.0. Jamaica 4.0 is not a slogan, but a movement and a whole-of-nation approach. Jamaica 4.0 means building a knowledge-based economy where a brilliant mind in Mandeville is just as valuable as one in Manhattan. It means creating tech innovation zones in Montego Bay, Kingston, Mandeville, and Port Antonio. It means creating industrial parks in St. Thomas, St. Catherine, Clarendon, Trelawney, and St. Mary. Places where our young people don't have to leave home to change the world. Picture this as well. Jamaican farmers using AI, as was just said, to predict weather patterns and optimize crop yields. Or musicians, not just creating the sounds of the world, the soundtrack of the world, but owning the digital platforms that distribute it. Or manufacturers, not just assembling products, but designing them with smart technology that makes Made in Jamaica a mark of innovation, not just pride. Recently, I met a young woman, let's call her Keisha, who created an app that helps small farmers connect directly with restaurants in Kingston. She didn't need $1 million loan or a foreign partner. She needed what Jamaica 4.0 will provide: reliable internet, access to training, and a government that says yes instead of wait. But transformation is not magic. It's policy, it's methods, it's processes, it's strategy. It's all of us working together. We will modernize our existing trade agreements and widen our market access and reduce trade friction and boost Jamaica's competitiveness. We will develop our modern industrial strategy to help us seize the most significant opportunities and create the most favorable conditions in key sectors for the companies of the future to emerge here in Jamaica. A PNP government will revamp Jamaica's global image, damaged over the past 9 years. To promote Made in Jamaica as a badge of quality and reliability, and launch an aggressive country branding and investment promotion campaign. Logistics is the lifeblood of modern commerce, and Jamaica is uniquely positioned to be its beating heart in the Americas. We will build logistics hubs that position Jamaica as the gateway between the Americas and the world. We will create over 100,000 direct jobs and 400,000 indirect jobs, not in 5 decades, but in the next decade, anchored in a bold SEZ infrastructure strategy. We will modernize agriculture, as was just discussed, so our farmers don't just grow food, they grow opportunity, wealth, and food security for all. We will establish a National Logistics and Supply Chain Council and National Innovation and a National Innovation Fund. Because every breakthrough starts without someone who dares to dream differently. Let me say it clearly. Because every breakthrough starts with someone who dares to dream differently. We will reform our education and workforce development systems because you can't build a 21st century economy with 20th century skills. This is our moment. This is our choice. This is our Jamaica 4.0. We won't just extract, we'll create. We won't just survive, we'll thrive. We won't just participate in the global economy, we'll help to shape it. 63 years ago, our parents and grandparents chose independence. Today, we must choose innovation. They chose to govern themselves correctly, I may add. We must choose to grow ourselves. They dreamed of a free Jamaica. We must build a sustainable economy with inclusive growth and opportunity for all. Jamaica 4.0 isn't just our economic plan. It is our promise to every child who dreams of building something great without leaving home. It's our commitment to every entrepreneur who sees opportunity where others see obstacles. It's our covenant with generation yet unborn. Ladies and gentlemen, the era of extraction is ending. The age of innovation has begun. And it starts with us here today. Welcome to Jamaica 4.0. Let's build our future together. I leave you with the following video presentation, 2 minutes video presentation. The future of Jamaica 4.0, logistics hub implemented. Time come.
The Jamaica 4.0 Growth with Opportunity program breaks new ground. In today's market climate, countries no longer compete on products or services alone, but on their contribution to the global value chain. Goods and services are no longer produced in a single location. They are assembled and delivered across a network of territories, each adding value to the final product. This global value chain is driven by opportunity. Jamaica's government must therefore create an internationally competitive business environment to join and thrive in this chain. Policy decisions directly influence foreign direct investment and, by extension, impact both local and international investor confidence, especially among multinational corporations. The next step is for Jamaica's policies to evolve, from concepts and studies to execution platforms, from incentive-driven frameworks to innovation hubs, making significant value-added contributions to the global value chain. Only then can Jamaica become a catalyst for a new kind of business environment that delivers widespread local prosperity. Through its Jamaica 4.0, Growth with Opportunity, Jamaica will harness global economic dynamics to fuel domestic growth. And that is only the beginning. The 4 pillars of the program, best-in-class trade agreements, a forward-thinking industrial strategy, a bold investment promotion plan, and a global logistics initiative will form the foundation for a globally competitive economy. These tried and tested pillars, with tangible results across multiple industries, will define a roadmap for the program until 2030 and beyond. Beyond incentives, beyond growth, this will shape a global ecosystem where Jamaica becomes the gateway interconnecting the Americas to the world, building a new global trade order defined by connectivity, resilience, and opportunity.
And now I have the privilege of introducing one of our young, vibrant candidates, Miss Danishka Williams, Southwest St. Anne, to address culture and the creative industries.
Good evening. Let me also observe all protocols, but a very special good evening to our next Prime Minister of Jamaica, Comrade Mark Golding. Jamaica's cultural identity is one of our greatest treasures and one of our most valuable assets globally. From the pounding heartbeat of reggae and dancehall that moves people from here in Kingston to Tokyo in Japan, to the bold colors and textures of our fashion, from theater that brings stories to life, to dance floors that unite strangers in joy, from the wisdom of our storytellers and the brilliance of our designers, our culture carries the spirit, the voice, and the vision of our Jamaican people. Culture and the creative industry can no longer be viewed as just a matter of pride. Culture and the creative industry has to be viewed as an area of opportunity to help our Jamaican people thrive. The global creative economy is valued at more than $3 trillion US. Yet we know that in Jamaica, with our passion, our unmatched talent, and our originality, our Jamaican people deserve better. They deserve more. Time come for us to put our creatives first and ensure that the work that they put in are put on the global stage so that they can also thrive. Because as Bob Marley has done, we know there are many other creatives in Jamaica that can do the same and more. The People's National Party believes that culture and the creative sector are not just about entertainment and artistic expression. It is a serious driver of economic growth, of job creation, and innovation. It is a vehicle for community transformation, and it is a pathway for our young people to turn their dreams into reality and into viable careers. Today we say, time come to invest in our people, to protect their work, and to build the infrastructure that will take Jamaican culture further than ever before. Our approach is clear, our vision is bold, and our commitment to our people remains unwavering. First, we will invest in the creative industry like never before. Establishing a $1 billion creative economy fund designed to support business development, content creation, training, and community-based arts. We will create a creative industry park and music heritage museum in none other than Trenchtown, honoring our icons while nurturing the next generation of talent. And across the island, from Portland to St. Anne to Westmoreland, we are improving small studios, creative hubs, and community venues, so no corner in Jamaica is left out of this creative movement. And secondly, as one of the youngest candidates here, we are proud to say that we will also be investing in our young people, placing special focus on youth employment and capacity building. We will open doors for our young people through internship and mentorship in every creative field. We will retool the Creative Production and Training Center, the Media Technology Institute, with cutting-edge training in film, animation, in music, and audiovisual production. And from early childhood classrooms to adult learning centers, we are prepared to expand the cultural curriculum. Because creativity is not just an inborn gift. We know it must be nurtured at every stage of life. The third thing we will do is strengthen business development and regulation for creatives. Through Jamaica Creative, Through Jamaica Creatives, we will help artists and innovators become investment ready and market their work globally. We will introduce a national business certification program for creatives, revise outdated trade policies, create special entertainment zones that are properly planned with community input. And I've identified one in my constituency, and I know my colleagues have done the same. And we will simplify entertainment licensing through a single national system. Fourth, we will ensure policy reform and institutional strengthening. We will reinstate and empower the National Cultural and Creative Industry Commission, streamline government agencies to remove duplication. And if you're in the industry, you know how important that is. And ensure that public funds for creative projects are spent transparently and fairly. Let me go again. We will ensure that public funds for the creative projects are spent transparently and fairly. We will repatriate important Jamaican artifacts held overseas and modernize our museums and galleries. And yes, we will bring back the cultural passport program so our young people can put the devices down and experience the richness of our Jamaican culture firsthand. We have a plan to bring culture and tourism together, finally, in a way that benefits our communities. We will work hand in hand with the Ministry of Tourism to reinstate and promote community festivals to ensure that Jamaican culture is at the center of our tourism identity. So when my tourists are going to Bob Marley in 9 Mile, they can stop in Alexandria and enjoy some opportunities and some good fun with my constituents. And finally, we'll give national recognition to 2 giants of Jamaican culture. We will confer the honor of National Hero on the Honorable Robert Nesta Marley, who, might I add, is from my constituency, and the Honorable Louise Bennett Coverley, in recognition of their enduring legacies and the way they carried Jamaica to the world with dignity, authenticity, and brilliance. Ladies and gentlemen, the People's National Party understands this simple truth. Culture is not a side note. It's not a side hustle. Culture is the heart of our story as Jamaicans. It is the very heartbeat of this nation. When we invest in our creatives, we are investing in Jamaica's future. When we protect our cultural heritage, we are strengthening our identity. And when we take our talent to the world, we are claiming our rightful place in the global economy. So let us build a Jamaica where our creative people thrive, our culture shines, and our economy grows. Time come for the creative economy to take center stage. Time come for Jamaica to lead the world, not just in rhythm, but in revenue, in recognition, and in respect. Jamaica, time come for our creatives. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, I could not have said it better to round out that conversation on innovation and industry. Culture is not a side note, it's not a side hustle. It is truly the soul of our nation. Give it up one more time for our two representatives this evening, exploring what innovation and industry will look like under a PNP government, MP Anthony Hilton and MP to be Danishka Williams. Now, our next speaker and presenter is no stranger to those of us who walk the hallowed halls of TikTok daily. He is known for creating some of the most engaging pieces of content that humor us, but also call us to think deeply about the things we might overlook or take for granted. Now, one of the things I've learned is that it takes a sharp, witty mind and a wise soul to give a good joke. So fun and joke aside, our next speaker is a serious leader, and he is deeply committed to not just reforming and tinkering and fiddling with our healthcare sector, but transforming it entirely, prioritizing a patient-first approach to how we treat with our vulnerable populations, and not just centering on healing the sick, but a focus on prevention and wholesome wellness. Please join me in welcoming our speaker to explore our next pillar on Mission Jamaica Love, care for the vulnerable and health services, Dr. Alfred Dawes, the next Member of Parliament for Southeast St. Catherine.
All protocols observed. A special greeting to the next Prime Minister of Jamaica. Comrades and Jamaicans here and online, good evening. I am not here tonight to sell a manifesto. I'm here tonight to invite you on a journey. It is a journey of creating a world-class healthcare sector. It is a journey towards good healthcare with dignity, where you are treated like and feel like Smaddy Pickney. It is a journey to reform healthcare, because for too long we have been kicking the reform can down the road, and now we are at the end of that road. We are reforming healthcare to meet the needs of the people, not what looks good with optics and marketing. The people have suffered long enough. They have cried too often. Billions spent with lives not saved, but friends enriched. The People's National Party will not boast of the money that is spent. It will boast of the lives saved. And I am not just here because you can read the manifesto. I am going to say the team that is going to implement these policies care deeply about the health of the nation, led by a prime minister with medicine in his DNA. 3 generations of excellent doctors, with Sir John Golding planting the seeds that has allowed him to select a team that is going to go far beyond what Sir John himself did. I have been the doctor who decides who gets a bed and who gets to sit in a chair for days because there are no more beds. I have been the doctor who decides who gets oxygen because oxygen is low. I have been a part of the medical team that has decided who gets to go into ICU for that one available bed and who has to die. And that is not a responsibility that you would want to wish on your worst enemy, but it is a responsibility that is faced every day by our healthcare workers. You don't want to be those healthcare workers, and worse, you do not want to be that patient or relative. Billions wasted, millionaires created. Even as more mothers die during childbirth than 30 years ago, more babies are dying than 10 years ago, than 20 years ago. More Jamaicans now are suffering under this healthcare sector. And the tears of the grieving relatives for those who have passed demand change. It is not through infrastructural projects, not an ivory tower at the University Hospital of the West Indies, when so many clinics and hospitals lack staff and basic equipment to care for those who come to their doors. The needs of the patients and the staff need to be addressed and not the needs of the politician. It cannot be that policies are guided by ribbon cutting over service. Nothing short of comprehensive reform of the entire healthcare sector is acceptable. The regional health authorities, over 20 years now, we know that there is needed some level of reform, and we will make those painful reforms. We will change administrative functions. We will fix the wastage of money. We will drill down on the procurement issues that are facing the Ministry of Health. There will be a comprehensive review of how we fund the Ministry of Health and a comprehensive review of how we spend the dollars in the Ministry of Health. And above all, we will have care with dignity. And this means that you will have care with dignity from the womb to the tomb. The political will is here tonight, Jamaica. I feel it in the room. It can be done. It will be done. So I invite you, Jamaica, to journey with the PNP as we reduce waiting times for surgeries in A&E departments, in clinics, where we move patients out of chairs into beds, where we save mothers from dying in labor with improved antenatal care rather than blaming the mothers. We will end the lies that a dead baby a day at the Victoria Jubilee Hospital is due to prematurity by building a proper neonatal ICU at the Bustamante Hospital for Children, for ensuring that timely surgeries and interventions are done at Bustamante, the largest pediatric hospital in the English-speaking Caribbean, by having a proper CT scan and MRI for the first time, instead of having those children and babies carted over in the cold air to KPH. It is a pledge, it is a promise, it will be done. Join us on a journey towards improved emergency services with proper ambulances, where we will allow patriotic Jamaicans, families, businesses to adopt an ambulance and take care of the maintenance, so that ambulance will always be on the road and available in the case of an emergency. Join us as we improve radiology, where every parish hospital will have a CT scan, where we will improve dialysis so you don't have to cut the costs and allow yourself to be poisoned a little bit more, rather than get the treatment you deserve if you have kidney failure. Join us on a journey towards dignity, where you no longer have to go on Facebook and beg for blood donations. Join us for a health service where we work towards seeing a grandmother with a hip fracture, getting her surgery done because the implants are there, rather than waiting 3 months to come up with the money to buy those implants. They will have their surgery and be home in 2 days. We are on a journey to create a primary care system, where if you can't afford to go to the clinics will come to you with home visits through community health aides, where you will be screened, and we will manage the diabetes better, we will manage the hypertension better, so that we will have less strokes, less amputations. Today, a leg was cut off. Every day, a leg is lost in Jamaica, likely due to diabetes, entirely preventative. Join us as we journey towards cancers screened and cured with less lives lost. And this part is particularly emotional for me, because 3 years ago, my mother was diagnosed with colon cancer, and I've told this story before with her permission. And guilt-racked, I made a pact with God that should her cancer go and she'd not get that dreaded surgery where she would need the bag on her side permanently, I would do everything in my power, wherever I am planted, to improve cancer care in Jamaica. And yesterday, after her follow-up colonoscopy 3 years later, she continues to be cancer-free. Without any surgery, it disappeared from stage 3 to stage 0. And it reminds me that the pledge I made 3 years ago is not for her, but for those who could not afford the Tony Thwaites bill, who cannot afford the private doctor, those who can't call a friend and say, get a colonoscopy done. They have to wait 2 years. And during that time, the cancer grows where it is incurable. It is the reality that is facing a lot of Jamaicans, and one that I have vowed to help to put an end to that misery. And I am asking to join me on that journey, to join the People's National Party on that journey, to reduce the suffering of Jamaicans by providing the healthcare sector that I know we can create. We only have to dream it, because the team is there to do it. A team that has over 400 years of cumulative experience, but they're just waiting for the right prime minister to focus on health. With the right economic conditions where we're not saddled by debt and austerity. I know Jamaicans, that you are hurt, angry, and disappointed with the healthcare sector. But it is that same hurt, anger, and disappointment that gives us all hope. Because now you are demanding, for the first time since universal adult suffrage, that health be a priority in a general election. And with this awesome responsibility of who forms the next government hanging over both parties' heads, it is for Jamaicans to choose the team who they believe cares more about their health rather than the gimmickry and the ribbon cutting. I know Jamaicans on September 3 going to the polls will make healthcare one of the reasons why they vote for the People's National Party to enact the reforms that we need. Our parents, grandparents who have gone before us, they demand it. Our children, the next generation, require it of us. We have an excellent opportunity now to fix healthcare for generations to come. Let us not waste it. Let us do the right thing. Thank you.
The man for the mission and the moment, ladies and gentlemen, you heard it for yourselves from Dr. Alfred Dawes. For us, as a People's National Party, health is more than just hospitals and medication. It's about the human being, or Jamaican brothers and sisters, mind, body, and spirit, supporting them through wellness and long, healthy lives. One more time for Dr. Dawes. Now, before we move to our next pillar, I want to take a moment to reflect on the values that have to guide us as leaders and citizens. At the heart of good governance is integrity, a commitment to serve with honesty, fairness, and respect for every Jamaican. These are not just political ideals, but they are promises that we're making to our country. A pledge, if you will. And one of our clearest expressions of that promise is actually found in the Jamaican National Pledge. Now, if you watched the Grand Gala through and through, you may have seen a disruptive advertisement with our next Prime Minister at the center, reciting same. As a reminder to keep ourselves accountable to the people that we serve, I invite you to stand as we cue up the playing of our Jamaican National Pledge.
God and all mankind, I pledge the love and loyalty of my heart, the wisdom and courage of my mind, the strength and vigor of my body in the service of my fellow citizens. I promise to stand up for justice, brotherhood and peace, to work diligently and creatively, to think generously and honestly, so that Jamaica may, under God, increase in beauty, fellowship, and prosperity, and play her part in advancing the welfare of the whole human race. Before God and all mankind, I pledge the love and loyalty of my heart, the wisdom and courage of my mind,
the strength and vigor of my body in the service of my fellow citizens. I promise to stand up for justice.
Next pillar, the final A in Jamaica, as we explore Mission Jamaica Love, accountability in governance. Please welcome a man most suited to speak to accountability in governance, or president of the People's National Party and leader of the opposition, a man who has led with integrity and vision, Mark Jefferson Golding.
Thank you very much, Crystal. Jamaica's democratic journey began with the fight for the right to vote and then self-government. Today, we must go further. Democracy is not only about casting a vote. It's about giving citizens an authentic voice in the decisions that affect their lives. The People's National Party is committed to participatory democracy, where governance is transparent, inclusive, and accountable. We will modernize our public institutions, return power to communities, and rebuild trust in government by creating a system that delivers for the people. Now, earlier you heard some constitutional aspects of this in the introduction of a procedure for impeachment, for recall, for the opposition chairing the committees in Parliament, and I would add unexplained wealth orders. Further to all of those, we must restore and will restore the Office of the Political Ombudsman as an independent watchdog, separate from the Electoral Commission of Jamaica. We must ensure the independence and effectiveness of the Integrity Commission to enable it to pursue its statutory mandate without fear or favor, including desirable improvements such as the modification of the so-called gag clause to achieve a workable balance between protecting legitimate reputational rights and ensuring timely disclosure in the public interest. I've said in the coming elections, there will be candidates who are under investigation for illicit enrichment, and the voters will not know who they are other than one. We will strengthen the oversight committees in Parliament, including by enacting mechanisms that facilitate the participation of civil society and other non-state actors in the work of those oversight committees. We must broaden the democracy in this country and include more people in the process of government. We will modernize the Access to Information Act, which was introduced by the People's National Party and which needs further reform, including to implement simpler processes, shorter timelines, and a broader scope to facilitate the flow of information to the public. We will modernize the legal framework for obtaining permits and licenses to ensure efficiency, fairness, and transparency. We will increase the monetary jurisdiction of the parish courts so more Jamaicans can have access to justice that is affordable and closer to home. And I would remind that the emergence of the parish courts took place when I was Minister of Justice, when we modernized the system from resident magistrate court to the parish court system. And we will hold public dialogue on the National Sex Offender Registry to ensure a balance between public safety and rehabilitation of offenders
because the society is calling for that. In local government, we will build on the constitutional amendment enacted in 2015 that guarantees a local system of democratic governance. We will review the 3 strategic laws that we passed under Portia Simpson Miller: the Local Governance Act, the Local Government Financing and Financial Management Act, and the Local Government Unified Service and Employment Act, with a view to making necessary adjustments followed by full enforcement of their provisions, which has not happened yet. We will empower the parish development committees and community development committees to create local plans. We will shift focus from constituency politics to community development by expanding the powers of our municipal corporations to make a difference in local people's lives. And we will establish a national People's Assembly, including diaspora representatives, to review laws and shape policy impacting local communities. We will introduce participatory budgeting and local planning, where citizens help to decide the spending priorities, which is contemplated by the 3 strategic laws. And we will create stronger accountability measures for local government, linking funding to measurable performance. Jamaica is demanding broader inclusion alongside greater accountability and integrity in public affairs. And the People's National Party, under my leadership, will deliver on that broad call. Thank you very much.
Now, I don't think you're going to hear from Yinga for the rest of the night, all right? So you need to clap her big and loud and tell her thank you, and we love you, and we feel blessed to be entertained by magnificent talent such as yours. Thank you very much, Yinga, and of course, Jody and Pantry, who soothed us with soulful sounds earlier in our program. Now, we've entered the final segment of this evening's Mission Jamaica Love presentation. So we've explored the acronym Jamaica, and we've now entered the love zone. Everybody ready for a little love? I hope so. Our next pillar begins with the letter L, and it signifies land, housing, and ownership. And I'm going to invite the members of our final conversation to the stage. That will be our panel discussion. So we're really at the last part of George, as we would say. So I'm inviting to join me on stage and to share with you this evening on a topic that is very close to home for all Jamaicans, because that dream to have a piece of the rock that you can call home and call your own is a national desire. The security that comes from home ownership is unparalleled. And this pillar is really about turning the dream of owning a home into reality for thousands of families across the country. So to speak to this, we are joined by someone who understands the importance of land and housing as not just something for the privileged few, but as a right for all. He has been a strong advocate for the fairness of land distribution and for housing policies that give ordinary Jamaicans the chance to own and build. Please welcome, ladies and gentlemen, the Member of Parliament for South West Clarendon, Lothan Cousins.
My fellow Jamaicans, comrades all, members of the diplomatic corps, and party leader, Mark Jefferson Golding, next Prime Minister of Jamaica. And with the announcement of the general elections, which is due, I think it's September 3rd, we are no longer an opposition party. We are a government in waiting. We are also not a party of hype. We are a party of substance. And the substance is clearly outlined in the manifesto that is presented today. What we are presenting are workable solutions that is going to impact thousands of lives over the next 5 years. Hope is a bridge between today and tomorrow. Land and housing represents that bridge. It represents that hope. Thousands of Jamaicans over centuries have been disenfranchised. A system was created to deliberately deprive thousands of Jamaicans of land ownership. Our founding father, the Right Excellent Norman Washington Manley, recognized that. He championed the cause. And with this current PNP administration that is incoming, led by Mark Jefferson Golding, we are going to finally have the issue of landlessness, and the lack of land ownership finally put to rest. When I closed my presentation in Parliament, I closed with the words of Norman Manley, and I'll begin there. Land represents justice. Housing represents dignity. Together, they provide housing, shelter, they provide food. It is the core of who we are as a people. And it is fitting that when we say Jamaica love, everybody knows Jamaica love land, and Jamaicans love land. There is no secret there. 700,000 Jamaicans are currently living in squatter settlements on Crown lands. We intend, as a government, to settle that issue once and for all. And when they say we do not have any policies, even those on the other side know exactly the plans that we have for land. They know it. They have listened to it. They have been repeating it. And they know that we can do it and that we will do it. We will reduce the number of years for those who are living on squatter land from 60 to 25 years. that is for those living on crown lands. The law originated in England. England has reduced that to 10 years. It therefore makes no sense as a country for us to have that law which was in place that was designed to deliberately keep land ownership away from our people in place in the next PNP administration. We will ensure that as soon as practicably possible, the legislation will come to Parliament and that law will be amended forthwith. We all have sat down as a people and we have seen what has happened with the National Housing Trust. It is a crying shame. But we are not here to complain. We are here to provide solutions. And that is what this manifesto is about. So we are going to immediately end the extraction of the $11 billion every single year from the National Housing Trust. We are going to restore the National Housing Trust to its core mandate. All of you in Jamaica and across the world would have heard about our Rent to Own initiative. It is a bold, forward-thinking initiative that will allow thousands of Jamaicans who cannot afford a home to start out by renting that home. And after 6 months, after you have demonstrated that you're able to cover the rental expenses, that will be converted to a mortgage. And you will now be paying a mortgage monthly and be owning that piece of land that you're on. For the young home owners, we have said it before, every single year we are going to make $1 billion available so that you can get not a loan, a $500,000 grant for those who are up to 45 years of age. That will help you to cover the expenses to purchase that property. It is trite, it is settled that we have been advocating these policies. And we need to remind the Jamaican people that is us, this government in waiting, that is going to implement these policies and create a better life for all Jamaicans. You know, it is this government who some time ago, a few years ago, when civil servants used to benefit from a special arrangement at the NHT, where they pay a reduced amount for the mortgage every month, that took that right away from the police officers, the teachers, the nurses, and all civil servants. We are going to restore that arrangement. That 3% you're paying now on your mortgage is going to go back to 1% as it was when the PNP was in power. These civil servants go out every day. They sacrifice their lives for us. It is only right that we do what is right and ensure that they can own a piece of this rock. This PNP government in waiting is going to provide also special arrangements for persons with disabilities. So the same arrangement as it relates to the civil servants will also apply for those persons who have disabilities so they can benefit from a reduced mortgage payment and they'll be able to also own a home. We will grant public sector workers a 3-month grace period so that when you have purchased that home, you will have to wait 3 months before you pay your first mortgage payment. That will give you the opportunity to do a little modifications to the house, make the house as comfortable as possible. Because we intend to construct 50,000 starter homes in the next 5 years. And with these starter homes, you'll need the extra cash. So, we believe that housing is a right as a party. We are committed to the cause. You have a decision to make on the 3rd of September. Take a look at the manifesto. Listen to the policies and the plans of the People's National Party. The decision is clear. Time come. Time come for a better Jamaica. And time has come for the People's National Party to be restored to its rightful place as the governing party for Jamaica. The word is love.
Jamaica. I entered politics at a time when women were few in the arena. We faced significant opposition, but we did not retreat. Today, 22 PNP women are stepping forward. They are lawyers, they are teachers, entrepreneurs, leaders. They have worked in their communities. They have stood in courtrooms. They have built businesses, mentored youth, and raised families. 22 PNP women united, unshaken, unafraid. Jamaica, time come.
Twenty-two of our candidates are women candidates heading into the next general election. I am sure the president of the women's movement, Mrs. Patricia Duncan Sutherland, is happy with those statistics, yes? And of course, it could not be possible without resolve and support at the leadership level of the party. And so, of course, credit must go to our president of the PNP and the Prime Minister in waiting, Mr. Mark Golding, and of course, our General Secretary, Dr. Dayton Campbell. So we're moving into our final panel and conversation this evening, and we're looking at what it takes when we talk about love, what it takes to create a society that is safe, secure, and sustainable for all Jamaicans. And we have joining us 3 senators. So we'll begin to the left with Senator Gabriela Morris, who is coming to us also as a candidate in the next general election. In fact, 2 of our senators here today are going to be running in the elections. And we also have Senator Peter Bunting and Senator Sophia Fraser-Binns. So I'll start with Gabriela. What do young people need, or what will a future PNP government do to make sure that Jamaica is where our young people want to live because they are guaranteed a better life here and not somewhere else in the world?
Thank you, Crystal, and let me say good evening to everyone, especially our next Prime Minister of Jamaica, Comrade Mark Jefferson Golding. Crystal, I think we have to start off by acknowledging that our youth are not just the future, but they are the here and now. And the PNP acknowledges that our young people are facing significant challenges when it comes to access to opportunities. When we look at affordable housing, access to housing, when we look at educational outcomes, we recognize that our young people are indeed bearing much of the burden in this country. And so as a government, the PNP is committed to putting young people at the fore. The party has already started, and I believe that we must commend our leader for giving young people a platform to share in decision-making, to share in policy development. And the Junior Shadow Cabinet, which we established, I think is evidence of that. We have taken an approach as a party that focuses on 4 key areas of youth development, education and training being the first. And one of the things we're committed to doing is reforming our curriculum in this country, because we know that we have to prepare young people for the world ahead and for the jobs that will take precedence in the modern world. And so the PNP will be focusing on reforming the curriculum to include subjects such as climate science, looking at artificial intelligence, because we believe that we must equip our young people with these skills so they can compete not just locally, but internationally. One of the things that we have also looked at and committed to doing is the reforming of heart. We want to ensure that in every parish, we have institutions that are geared to providing the skills that our young people need. And so we will be expanding the capacity of heart to offer more training programs to our young people. Another area of focus that falls under our education sector is that we want to look at digital literacy, because we know that we are in a technological age, and our young people, in competing and being equipped, we must train them with those skills. And so we will be focusing on a national digital literacy program, which will cater to 25,000 young people, and we aim to reach that target by 2029. We're also looking at a critical area of focus, which is job creation, entrepreneurship. And we recognize that there has been much buzz about record low rates. But one of the challenges that persist, especially for young people, is that while jobs might be available, these jobs are highly unstable and they also offer low wages. Our young people don't want to stay in a country where they have to be fighting to survive, fighting to make ends meet. And so one of the things that we are committed to doing as the next government is focusing on our entrepreneurs, because we want to encourage young people to not just be consumers, but producers, to create, to build, to develop. And so we will be implementing a national youth innovative fund, which will offer $1 billion and will be replenished annually. And that will focusing on supporting our young people who want to build businesses, who want to have startups, who are focusing especially on areas of technology, the creative industry. And we believe that this is a transformational program that will empower young people to build something for themselves. In terms of job creation as well, we are committed to providing 20,000 new jobs, especially in the area of tourism. We're looking at agriculture as well as the creative industry. And I want to move, Crystal, to the third pillar, which we have discussed earlier. It focuses on creative expression, culture, and sport. We know that our young people are incredibly gifted. Incredibly gifted. However, they need the support to develop their craft, to market their craft, and to earn from their craft. And so one of the things that we will do, in addition to our $1 billion creative fund, is set up a fund that will be used to build industry hubs and will be used to have creative spaces where persons can produce content and also earn from content. Another thing that we believe is critical to developing our youth is the development of spaces for them to meet. And so we know that in a lot of communities, while they're community centers, a lot of them have been locked up, they're engulfed by weeds. And so we want to revitalize our communities for our young people. And so the People's National Party is committed to building 200 community centers across this island. So I know from my constituency of Northwest St. Anne, the people will be excited. And indeed, for other constituencies, both urban and rural, they will be looking forward to an initiative like this, because we know that our young people need these spaces as well for community engagement, for sport, for homework helper centers. And that is our promise to the Jamaican people, that our young people will have spaces to grow, learn, thrive, and to entertain themselves as well. I want to go to the final point, Crystal, which focuses on an area that we sometimes don't place enough emphasis on. It is mental health care and protection of our people. And I want to commend the party for listening, because I remember about 3 years ago, we had a forum at the University of the West Indies. And this is one of the areas that young people constantly advocated for us to pay more attention to. And so we, as the People's Party, we have ensured that we have included this incredible need for support in our manifesto, and we will be prioritizing support for not just youth, but our people who need mental health care and support. Another thing that we want to focus on when it comes to our youth and the care of our youth as well is looking at initiatives that will prioritize at-risk youth. And we want to ensure that we have at least 20 centers that will be identified as spaces for intervention when it comes to at-risk youth. This is our commitment to ensure that our young people are engaged, are given alternatives, and are not led down the wrong path. So we are giving them a chance at transformation, and this is what the PNP has to offer. The final thing that I want to mention, and I know that it will go into what Senator Bunting will talk about, it has to do with the Peace Management Initiative. We hope and we are committed to ensuring that we expand the Peace Management Initiative to focus on our young people and to give them opportunities for mentorship and development and guidance that will deter them from any possibility of entering a life of crime. So, Crystal, I just want to close by saying that young people are not just a voting bloc when it comes to election time. We are real people who have real challenges. And I am happy to be a part of a party who recognizes that in order to build our future, we need to empower our young people. We need to support our young people so that they can truly see Jamaica as a place where they can really work, live, raise families, and do business. And that is our commitment.
Thank you so much, Senator Gabriella Morris. If that is not a credible and diverse suite of solutions for the myriad issues that young people face, I don't know what is. And it is testament to the fact that when the PNP brings young people to the front, we bring them bright, aware, and ready to lead. Northwest St. Anne has a true champion on their side. A lovely point to segue now into hearing about what it will take to secure the nation. We know from the statistics that those most involved in and harmed by violent crime are our young people. So, Senator, you can take it from any angle, but we do want to hear how we will better secure Jamaica for not just our young people, but Jamaicans at large.
Thank you. There's a fundamental difference in the approach of the People's National Party to the existing administration. If I were to characterize the difference, I would say it's the militarization or the warrior mentality of the security forces that this government promotes versus the guardian mentality that the PNP promotes. So with a warrior mentality, our security forces go out to fight crime and enforce the law. With a guardian mentality, our security forces go out every day to uphold the human rights of our citizens. So we don't look on young people as just as potential recruits to gangs, and if they go off the rails, then we need to come down on them hard, longer prison sentences, etc. We want to give them opportunities that will divert them away from a life of crime. And most of my colleagues have given a shout out to the next Prime Minister.
But I want to give a shout out to the former Minister of Justice, Mark Jefferson Golding, because he made some transformative laws. Actually, they were more about social engineering than fighting crime. For example, the decriminalization of ganja for personal use, and the automatic expungement of previous criminal records. That moved tens of thousands of young Jamaican, mostly men, from the margins of the economy and allowed them now to get farm work card, to get visa, to be able to work in many financial institutions, etc. So our approach is not all about fighting crime, as important as that is. But in terms of sustainability, we're more interested in crime prevention, creating opportunities for our young people, investing in our communities, building our schools, ensuring that there are employment and training opportunities that are as attractive or more attractive than a life of crime. So this is really the fundamental difference in our approaches. And when you talk about the future, it can't be about a police force that's primarily into militarization and occupying force in our communities. We want safe communities, but we want them built on a foundation of trust between the citizens and the security forces. They will be partners in building Jamaica in terms of our human development, in terms of our infrastructure development, and in terms of the social transformation of many of these communities which are generating most of the violent crime today.
Thank you very much, Senator Bunting. And now we are inviting Senator Fraser Binns to join the conversation. We're talking a lot about the future being with young people. But what will be the future of the world that they live in? We face severe degradation of natural resources. We're looking at unsustainable practices locally but also globally that affect the quality of life here on earth for all of us. And as a small island developing state, Jamaica has to look critically at how we are managing our own natural resources, which will end up being inheritances for those to come. What are some of the big shifts that need to happen at a government level for us locally to preserve, protect, and extend this inheritance?
Thank you so much for that question, Crystal, and good evening, everyone. And let me say good evening to our incoming Prime Minister, and also to applaud him, because the issue of the environment is really not something that you hear people talk about every day. But under the leadership of Mark Jefferson Golding, the environment has taken center place, because he recognizes that we cannot have a conversation about education if our schools are hot, the children can't learn. He understands that Comrade Dawes can't talk about health if we do not understand how climate change affects health. He understands that Mikhail can't want a good transport system if we don't understand how climate change will impact our roads. And Julian cannot speak about a stable economy until we understand how climate change and the destruction of the environment impacts the economy. And so for us in the People's National Party, we believe that we can have the development of the economy and the preservation of the environment. And to that extent, we also know that there are certain things that must be led by the government, starting with how we as government will operate. And because of that, we are committed to ensuring that every single ministry, agency, and department has what we call an environment impact assessment on any project that we are going to undertake. Too often we see government agencies going out and cutting down trees and building roads, destroying our mangroves without considering the environmental impact that it will have. Under Mark Golding-led administration, this is going to be a thing of the past because we will have the environment impact. But we also have to understand that we can't police ourselves. So we have to take a laser look at NEPA, the NEPA and the NRC. And we're committing to reviewing the NRCA Act to ensure that NEPA gets the independence it needs to be the watchdog and the protector of the environment. We're also going to ensure that NEPA does not have to appeal to the Minister of Environment. We see the Bengal case where, notwithstanding the decision of NEPA, an appeal was made to the Prime Minister acting as the Minister of Environment, who reversed that decision with over 100 conditions. Under Mark Golden-led administration, there will be an independent appeal tribunal where persons can appeal to independent of the Minister of the Environment. Data, research is important to us, and so we will, through NEPA, ensure that decisions are made through in-depth research, which identifies best practices. One of the things that affects us in Jamaica is that so often persons hear that we did not know that they're going to build in our community. With us, we know that the involvement and the engagement of the citizen is important in decision-making process. And it's for that reason that we are committing to ratify the Escazú Agreement. This agreement really puts power in the hand of citizens. So it says that citizens must have information about developmental projects in their communities. They must have information, they must have the access to information, but not just access to saying here it is, but access in terms of the information should be made available in a form that is easily read and understood. We also believe that under the Escazú Agreement, that the citizens should have a right in the decision-making process. So they must say how they feel about any development project that will be taking place, and access to justice. Too often we hear the outcry of persons who have an environmental issue and it either takes forever to be resolved in our court system. We are committed to implementing the Escazú Agreement so that access to justice in environmental matters will be obtained. For us in the People's National Party, we see the environment as a center around which development is going to take place. And we also understand what it means for the environment. We will also be working with our international partners because we know that Jamaica, as a small island developing state, cannot fight it alone. And that is why when Mark Golden becomes the chairman of CARICOM, he will ensure that CARICOM truly takes its place in the world in terms of negotiation. We will work with our diplomatic partners. We will ensure that issues of climate justice, loss and damage are brought to the fore. And those are just some of the things that the People's National Party will advance in terms of protecting the environment.
Thank you very much. A round of applause, ladies and gentlemen, as we thank all three senators who have helped us curate, I think, a very interesting final wrap on today's discussion around opportunities for young people, violence prevention, and environmental resilience. As long as you can spell, you can dispel the rumor, the myth, and the lie that we don't have any plans and they don't know what the People's National Party is presenting as a credible option for government. Not only will you be able to spell your way through or Mission Jamaica Love, you will always you will also be able to identify measurable and precise outputs that you can hold us accountable to delivering. Please, a round of applause for all of our speakers, presenters, and panelists this evening that have helped to guide our understanding of Mission Jamaica Love. I now invite for a final bit of soulful investment in our audience today. Please welcome back to the stage, ladies and gentlemen, our songstress, Jodianne Pantry.
Lead us to a place, oh Lord, 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 guide Jamaica with your grace, Lord, to a place where we'll be saved. So thank you so much. Enjoy the rest of it.
Can't get enough of Jody and Pantry. Give it up one more time as we say our final thank you and farewell to her. Now, we are wrapping it up. Our final speaker is really just to put the cherry on top this evening. And as you prepare to leave us, I just want to remind you that your bookmark, once you scan the QR code, you're able to download the full manifesto. But in the coming days, we will be presenting to you a summary of some of these ideas, as well as some fresh and new ideas in our Manifesto Lite publication. Remember to download from the Apple App Store, the Google Play Store, your Jamaican audio version of the manifesto, and of course, circulate that freely on WhatsApp so other members of the community, local and abroad, can benefit from what you have had access to this evening. And now to bring closing remarks and cap things off for this evening, I welcome back to the stage one who we can only define as prescient. He called it, saw the numbers, and called it. And I dare say he's probably already called the final numbers come nighttime on September 3. Prescient and passionate is what I'll say as we welcome back to the stage our General Secretary for the People's National Party, Dr. Dayton Campbell.
Thank you very much. Ladies and gentlemen, we will be presenting, as you've heard before, 2 versions to our manifesto. This detailed version, and we know what our opponents are likely to do. There are government that has been there for 10 days. They're the ones who, 10 years. Did I say 10 days? Or they have most 10 days and look a bit left. But they knew that an election was due and they were supposed to call it. And yet still, we've gotten to this point and they don't have a manifesto as yet. We know exactly what they will do. We say 50,000 houses, they will say 60,000, even though in the last term they've only built 20. We took our time in opposition to consult with the people. This is the People's Party. We did messaging polls. We did focus group discussions. We involved the delegates at our annual conference. We got feedback from the task force, from the different shadow spokespersons. And we have put together some practical solutions for complex problems that are affecting our country. We've heard from the people. They want to see what they're working for. People want to be able to enjoy life here and don't feel that they have to migrate in order to have a good life. There is a burning desire for people out there that they want a better quality of life. Like Paul Bogle swinging his machete from Stony Gottin, St. Thomas, heading to Spanish Town, better, Moscow. Like Miss Lucky toiling over the dirty laundry, washing them to send our 3 children to school, better, Moscow. Like a higgler in St. Elizabeth, who toils and carries her goods to Kingston, to the market, to sell so she can afford to send her children to school, better, Moscow. That taxi driver in St. Mary that is working hard that now can finally own a home through the rent-to-own program understands that he will bring dignity to his family, better must come. The child in Clarendon up in Crooked River that needs to get down to St. Hilda's and can't go on the whole school buses but needs that subsidy to take them to school, they must understand that better must come. That youngster in Manchester that has done everything that we've asked of them, have passed 10, 11, 12 subjects, but now have to be working in a wholesale or somewhere else. They understand now that they too can go to university and break the intergenerational chain of poverty. Better must come for that family. For that teacher in Portland that is building the next generation. And in our time off want to enjoy the beach but can't enjoy the beaches in this Jamaica, the land of wood and water. They too must know that better must come. I want to say to Jamaica, we cannot have a prime minister that could not get a work in a bank or in the public sector continuing in office. If you're not certified, you can't fast fit and proper, you couldn't get a work in a bank in Jamaica. You couldn't get a work in the public sector. So we want to ensure that Jamaica understand that in the office of Prime Minister, better must come. And so I invite the incoming Prime Minister and the candidates for the People's National Party to stand up and come to the front here in front of the audience. Because regardless of what they have said, we have a team that is led by a leader of integrity. We have experience mixed with youthful exuberance, intellect, diligence, and hard work. We are the team PNP. We believe in the People's National Party. We are PNP not because of what we have received. We are PNP because of what we believe. This is PNP, progress, not promises, as it has been in the beginning and as it will be in the end. The word is love. Jamaica love. God bless you. Thank you for joining us and have a fantastic evening. See you on the campaign trail.
The trumpet has sounded, my countrymen all, so awake from your slumber and answer the call. The torch has been lighted, the dawn is at hand. Who joins in the fight for his own native land? Land of my birth, I pledge to thee, loyal and faithful, true to thee. Oh, the toil will be heavy and the campaign long. The road will be dreary, the barrier strong. Our progress may falter and energies wane, but steadfast in spirit, our goal we will gain. Land of my birth, I pledge to thee, loyal and faithful, true to thee. In steadfast assurance that God will look down and give us his blessing our efforts to crown. Let all be united to build by his grace a nobler Jamaica, a loftier race. Land of my birth, I pledge to thee, loyal and faithful.
In every constituency, on every issue, the People's National Party has assembled the strongest, most diverse slate of candidates in a generation. From doctors ready to heal our broken health system, to educators building a smarter Jamaica, business people growing the economy, legal minds defending justice, and community advocates speaking truth to power. This is a team chosen for competence, compassion, and commitment. Led by Mark Golding, a good man with a good plan. This is not politics as usual. This is the team to rescue Jamaica, rebuild our future, and restore pride in leadership. Jamaica, time come. In every constituency, on every issue, the People's National Party has assembled the strongest, most diverse slate of candidates in a generation. From doctors ready to heal our broken health system, to educators building a smarter Jamaica, business people growing the economy, legal minds defending justice, and community advocates speaking truth to power. This is a team chosen for competence, compassion, and commitment. Led by Mark Golding, a good man with a good plan. This is not politics as usual. This is the team to rescue Jamaica, rebuild our future, and restore pride in leadership. Jamaica. Time come.